Hey, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Do not adjust your TV screens. No, this is not the timeless treasures of truth. We do that Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. ish Central Time. Hope you guys have caught up. Hope you guys have gotten your times together. The whole daylight savings time. Yeah, I know that's a little irritation for some of us. Irritation for pretty much all of us. It's funny how that happens. How, okay, in the springtime, they take the hour from you, and then in the winter, they give it back to you. What kind of sense does that make? What's the real purpose for it? I don't know. I guess we'd have to be more, if you're scientific minded or whatever that is. You go around climbing and clawing and cramming for why it happens. And I'm sure there was something to it. Maybe you science gurus or time gurus, nature gurus, or all you other gurus that seem to know so many things can give us some understanding and justification as to why it happens. But anyway, not what we're talking about, just a little momentary ramble, but passion is what we're talking about. So, but of course, love and hate are both things of passion. It takes passion to love just as well as it does to hate. And you would say, I guess you can say that love is the beautiful, pure, positive side of passion, and hate is the gloomy, dark, maybe perverted, if you will, not so beautiful side, not so positive side, negative side, the flip of it, of passion. Scripture says it like this in Romans chapter 9. We'll start at verse 8 from verse 13. That is, those who are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of God, but the children of the promise, are counted as the seed. For this is the word of promise. At this time, I will come and Sarah will have a son. And not only this, but Rebekah also had conceived by one man, even by our father, Isaac, for the children not yet being born, nor having any good or evil, that the promise of God and according to the election might stand, not of the works, but of God who he calls, him who calls. It was said to her, the oldest shall serve the youngest, as it is written, Jacob I loved, but Esau I have hated. And people would say, okay, how could a loving God hate anything or hate anyone? Well, if we love everything and everyone, we have to ask ourselves, what value does love truly have? What value does love truly have? Is it unfair that God chose Jacob over Esau? Some may say it was, but at the same time, we have to understand the fact that we're dealing with an all-seeing, all-knowing God, the one who created knowledge himself, the one who created sight, the one who created it all. We're dealing with him. So we have to understand the fact that he had the right to do so because he sees the end from the beginning. Scripture says it like this, that as 1,000 days, 1,000 years is as a day unto God. So he already knew, one, that Esau was going to forsake his birthright. So why would God even waste his time? Because of the fact that he knows men. And it actually, truth be told, is really a example for how we should handle things and how we should handle people. And it's really up to us and it's our benefit to really and truly get to know him and see him and follow his example. That way we don't find ourselves wasting time with things that aren't worth our time. It says that we shouldn't cast our pearls before swine. So we should take what's been given to us and handle what's been given to us in terms of our relationships, in terms of our time. We should really be mindful of how we handle those things and don't give our time and energy to things that really don't serve a purpose for us, unless they're for entertainment purposes. And even in that, we have to be careful with that as well, because some of the things that we entertain and some of the things that we find to be amusing and entertaining could be wasteful. However, more than anything, what we're going to get into, and this is an introduction for this week's reels that I'm going to be doing, we're going to be talking about hate. Of course, I promised that a couple of weeks back. And if you guys have been following me, you'll see that there's a pattern that I had cooking up. And yes, it'll be about hate. And of course, the things that God hates. There's a proverb we'll talk about, where he talks about the six things that he hates. And we'll get more into that as the time goes on. But thanks for your time. We appreciate you. By all means, if you feel a need to share this with a friend, a family member, someone out there, vendor, enemy, neighbor, whomever it may be, you need a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of a jolt, so to speak. God's blessings be with you, and may his presence be your joy.